Hi, everyone, and welcome to Roadside Live. I am honored to welcome our guest today, Mike Dragovich from Pure Elite Fitness. Mike is the co founder and coaching director there and has been in the fitness industry for more than a decade. And he is also my coach, and I'm honored to call him my friend. So, Mike, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. Well, before we dive into our topic, which is a really, really good one, could you tell us a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate about building your community?
Definitely. So I started out, my whole life I was an overweight kid myself. I played a lot of sports. And one thing definitely learned after my sports career was kind of cut short due to injuries. One thing I learned was like finding my outlet. And I realized that like in finding my outlet, I realized that like my outlet was like truly just helping people and understand like how to help them, what they need help with, and if I can actually do that. So, like training people, I started out back in 2009, 2008. Started out as a trainer, worked my way up through a few different companies, Bally's, LA Fitness, Anytime Fitness. Even had a gym previously before this, where I just learned that like the degree that we help people at in the fitness industry can definitely get better. And there's a lot of lack of actually understanding like your clients and what they need help with. So like that's where kind of my passion came from, where I saw that like it's not where it could be, and there's definitely a big empty hole that could be filled by just honestly like pushing forward and changing what the standard is in the fitness industry.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, with that, let's go back to the evolution of Pure Elite Fitness, and
Hmm.
let's go back to early 2020.
Yep.
You and your partners signed the lease on this huge facility, which we can see behind you. When was that? February 2020?
It was literally right on February 1st, so we closed in January, and we got the keys in February.
Wow. And then the
Yep.
world completely changed.
Yep. And then we got a big old smack in the face.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the people who are watching right now can completely relate to that. Um, you had done everything that you could possibly do to be prepared. I know that because we talked about it a lot. Um, you were ready to break ground on construction. You had a really solid business plan, and then you're ready to bring this movement to life, really, and then everything shuts down, which a lot of
Yep.
different businesses went through. So, what went through your mind at that time?
Of course, once you kind of like look through the smoke screen of like, okay, is this, should we be doing this right now? Is this the right time? And, it goes back to an old saying, the best time was 10 years ago, second best time is now. So no matter what was really happening, it was just understanding that like pandemic, no matter how bad things got, like at the end of the day, this is something we've been working a long time now. This has been a dream of ours for the last, well, at least a personal dream of mine for the last 10 years. And it's like understanding that, like, okay, why are we getting into this? What are our core values? Um, and we did do our homework. We knew that we were ready, and it's reframing our mindset as well. The very first thing we did was we sat down. Okay, we're here to help people. That was the whole point of this company. Okay, how can we help people during the biggest time in need of help? Right? And that's not saying just personally training people or opening up a gym. How can we actually help people and understand what they're going through? Like whether it's a psychological thing or an emotional thing, a mental thing, physical thing, because we understood that right now health is going to be the biggest concern during this pandemic.
Mhm.
How can we stay healthy? How can we work on our immune systems? But also, how can we handle staying indoors for a whole year straight? And no one knew how long this would be. Some people thought it would be 6 months. Some people thought it'd be longer. So like that was definitely it was a matter of us taking the time. We sat our whole team down right away, and we talked about how can we reframe and help other people during this time with whatever we can do, because that's what we stand for, especially with our core values. How can we be honest? How can we be responsible? Be curious, be a friend, be respectful, be a leader, be elite, and be inspirational, and take those and apply them to everyone that we possibly can.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I know your core values have played a big role in a lot of the decisions and a lot of the pivoting that you and your team have taken. So what actions did you and the team take at that point to help individuals deal with, not only the uncertainty, but also help improve their health despite, being stuck inside?
So it was a matter of understanding like different points in time, especially during this pandemic. You want to really apply different things. So it's whether like to engage more with more people and get through to them and understand that like we're here to actually truly help them. Like whether it was through educational information or entertaining or anything that's engaging and motivating. What we really did was take a step back and try and understand like what could everyone be going through. You know, you're at home, you're alone. A lot of people are getting laid off of work, so we really figured, okay, so if everyone's going to get motivating, might not be the best step forward. You still want to do that a little bit, but motivating someone and getting someone uh, emotionally engaged even more might not be the best thing, especially if they're scared during this time. So what we really focused on, especially in the beginning, was focusing on the more entertaining side. How can we pull people out of this mentally and trigger something that would help them work through this so they're not constantly thinking about it? Especially you're going to hear it all the time on the news. Everything you looked at left and right was pulling you in mentally, emotionally, and just wearing a lot of people down. So what we did was using our networks and like honestly clients that I built relationships with for years. Um, we partnered up with Magnificent Mutts and Meows. So they're a dog adoption agency, and they run out of Hillside, Chicago. And working with them, we helped. How could we help people with like dog adoptions? Right? It's an entertaining way to get you out of what's happening right now in the real world.
Hmm.
You know, it helps you focus on something else, right? A dog is a great emotional support tool, which has been used for years.
Yeah.
So we just tried to understand like what was truly happening with each person. So, and that helped a lot. We even with our marketing, the way we engage on social media, we're focused a lot more towards the entertaining side right now. And that's due to like because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And those events that you did with Magnificent Mutts, those were successful, right? Lots
Oh
of
yeah,
adoptions.
we adopted out 22 dogs in the first day. We've been supporting them the whole time. We make sure that we engage with them on social media. We post about dogs that need help and need homes.
Hmm.
Um, we even we even babysit some of the dogs now and then too. So
And I mean, it's pretty fun to have the dogs around too. So, what benefits have you seen, Mike, from serving your community? What are some of the benefits that you've seen?
I think the biggest benefit that we've seen is helping people bring back like the hope of like there's a bright light at the end of this tunnel.
Hmm.
You know, use this time as like there's a silver lining with everything that's happening right now, and that's you get to step up to prove to like who you really are as a company, as a personal brand. You know, you get to live and show your core values to people that are in a time of help and need. You know, it's given us the opportunity to where if you're getting laid off from your job, we are trying to take in more trainers. We're doing free classes. We're doing whatever we can to help people pull themselves out of a situation at home, whether it's you know depression, anxiety are at an all-time high right now. You know, if you start battling with yourself, that's something we're trying to pull you out of and really move forward. Even if you can move forward in one of the hardest times that we'll probably live in as a human being, you know, everything else after this is going to come a lot easier.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Now, in addition to building up your local community, you're located physically in Arlington Heights, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. Um,
Correct.
in addition to serving your local community, I know you have taken steps to really build a very strong community online too.
Yep.
How has that benefited you personally and professionally?
It's given us a bigger platform, in all honesty. And that's how we're looking at it, and that's what we're trying to use it for. Platform to help even more networks and smaller businesses, people personally, where we can ensure that we're engaging as much as we possibly can to help them in any way that we can. I mean, I using our platform, we've been able to reach like a lot more than just Arlington Heights. We're definitely reaching a lot more people like on virtual training. We've been doing that as well.
Hmm.
And we do it at a very affordable rate so that we can actually help people.
Hmm.
And then the way we help them is just, and we've been doing this with other businesses as well. I know we're considered a startup, but it's something that we're not new to. Something even during the whole pandemic, the very first thing we want to make sure that we're helping people grow during this time and not be stagnant and be left behind. So we're helping clients lose weight and get better jobs or get a raise in their jobs or, you know, things like in that nature that they can see that like, okay, if you can work through this in this time, after everything sun's and the bright light at the end of the tunnel, you can take that to another level as well.
Hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And we've had a lot of conversations about this over time. I
Yep.
But personal confession, I like to Mike and I train virtually now. We train over Zoom, and I like to dive deep into these topics sometimes just to try and distract Mike from how many sets I've actually completed.
Yeah, and that works too, just because I'm
Mhm.
so engaged with it.
But really, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations about mindset and about, how that plays such an important role in not only fitness and personal development, but mindset is really key in business and in marketing too. Can you speak a little bit to that and how your mindset has shifted even just within the last year?
Oh, definitely. I would say even for our mindset is just looking. So I'm a big believer in that once you start going down an avenue and you start seeing things in a different way, it almost seems like new doors open that really have been there the whole time, right? Reframing your mindsets that, okay, I'm focused on helping people. So when I'm scrolling through social media, trying to engage more, I see more ways that I can help people than I could before. And one thing we've been doing that, especially reframing our clients' mindsets, is seeing that like the hope and light of like, hey, during this time we have been gifted the time of time, and something we didn't have before. Everyone's super busy, whether they're with their jobs or even just a mindset of I'm constantly on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've been gifted the time of time.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to have more time to work on yourself and really reframing a mindset of like, hey, during this pandemic, I need to come out on bottom and not be left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even for myself personally, the one thing we talked about during this pandemic, I wanted to learn more and more about marketing and also like how we can market ourselves and talk about ourselves, even building our personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
So and speak about our story, what we do, and how we can help more people. And by doing that, we've been able to help a lot more communities. So, like the different things we've been doing inside the pivot, you know, um, in reality, we are a small business and we just started and we started right before the pandemic. So, our one thing, how can we help more people in the community? So, we started helping skateboarders and renting out space because, especially in the winter, they don't have a space to skate. We've understood the needs of them that like that's their outlet. Like if we use working out, they use skating. Same thing with wrestling. A lot of people aren't aware that like the high schools like they're not holding the state series this year. So one thing we want to do is just help the high school kids, and especially like I hold that kind of near and dear and personally to me that like I my career ended with an injury, but seeing some of these kids that like they're missing out on an opportunity to grow into someone else and to grow into the person that they can be by not being able to, by something they can't control at all. So we've been helping out by we have wrestling mats in here where they can come and practice. And it's the same thing we do with our clients.
Hmm.
So
And I understand you're going to be doing self-defense classes too.
correct. And there's a whole reason behind that as well. It's not just for self defense, but like the empowerment of being able to understand and learn that going through it physically, you can take control and that your life is in your own hands.
Hmm.
So,
Now, I understand you're also planning. We've talked a little bit about what you've done to support your community over this past year and really throughout your career in fitness over the last 10 years.
yep.
What are some of your future plans for supporting your community?
So, future plans. This is kind of a little bit of an exclusive because there's something we're working on currently, and we just started. Where we'll be holding a small business event in our facility. Because we've had to pivot and we weren't able to completely build out, but we built up a lot of traction. One thing we'll be doing is a small business event. It's called Support You. We'll be bringing in 15 to 20 different small businesses. We'll be blasting it out on social media and helping them create content so they can build traction and get the support from the community that they deserve. You know, especially restaurants, not enough traffic coming in through there. They have a lot of open space to where they're not getting enough clientele through the doors. So we want to make sure we can help build them up with that. And even on the social media side, we'll be helping them post videos, post content, how to engage more with the community and things like that.
I love that. I love that. So, for any small businesses in the area that want to get involved, we'll make sure to post Pure Elite's social media information so that you can follow them there and learn more about that upcoming event. But I also understand that you have a special offer available for everyone watching today. What is that?
We do. So we want to be able to, our whole purpose behind Pure Elite is to help people get the tools that they need in order to succeed in life. So not just fitness and health, but whatever they want to accomplish, they live the life that they know they deserve and they've earned. So we're offering anyone out there a free trial for the first 2 sessions. Come try us out. Um, what we'll do is go through the full program. We really sit down and take time and we actually onboard all of our clients. So that means that we take the time to break down the long term, short term goals. And that's not just physically and health wise. What do you want to accomplish in life? Who do you want to be? What does that look like? Why is that your goal? And then we help really sit down and reverse engineer into action steps of like what you can do to get there. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that offer. I put the link in the comments for anyone who's interested, and remember, this is not limited to the local area. Anyone can take advantage of these 2 free sessions with a Pure Elite coach and the onboarding that Mike just described. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate you coming on with us today and talking about community, and we would love to have you again in the future.
appreciate you guys. I would love to come back, that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great afternoon.